The sky was covered with heavy leaden clouds, promising a storm. Jessica followed the narrow path through the woods, hurrying to get home before dark. Autumn leaves rustled softly beneath her feet, and only the wind broke the oppressive silence. Suddenly, the first raindrop fell to the ground. Jessica looked up, but instead of clear moisture, a thick scarlet drop fell on her hand. She frowned, gazing up into the sky. The rain was getting heavier. Sticky red drops dripped down her fingers, leaving eerie patterns on her skin. Her heart pounded faster. She rushed to run, but with each step the feeling of dread grew. The forest around her seemed to grow darker, the trees with their gnarled branches like sinister figures. The rain did not stop. Now it wasn't just rain, it was blood. She saw an old abandoned house by the roadside, the only place of refuge. When she reached the porch, Jessica looked back. The path behind her had turned into a scarlet stream, and the air was filled with a heavy metallic odor. She grasped the doorknob, but the door slowly creaked open on its own, as if inviting her inside. Jessica froze on the threshold. The darkness inside the house seemed thick, as if it could be touched with her hands. Behind, the rain continued to pour down, turning the ground into a purple swamp. The metallic odor of blood tickled my nostrils, and panic was growing by the second. Suddenly there was a squelching sound behind her, something approaching on the soggy path. Jessica didn't look back. She stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind her with a thud. It was cold and damp inside. Dim light shone through the broken windows, illuminating the peeling walls and dust-covered old furniture. The smell of rot lingered in the air. A mirror hung on the wall, the only thing that wasn't covered in dust. Jessica slowly approached it. Her reflection seemed strange. Her face was pale, her eyes too dark. She raised her hand, and her reflection repeated the movement but with a delay. Her heart pounded frantically, and then the reflection smiled. An eerie, inhuman smile stretched across her face, revealing teeth as sharp as blades. A whisper came from behind the mirror. "You're too late, he's already here." At that moment, something scraped against the door from outside. Jessica backed up, but the floor suddenly groaned beneath her feet and fell away. She collapsed into the darkness with a scream. Jessica flew downward, her scream echoing in the darkness. Suddenly the fall stopped. She landed on something soft and wet. Rising to her feet, she felt something sticky under her palms. In the dim light shining through the cracks in the floor, she saw that she was lying on a pile of bodies. The horrible, musty odor of death filled her lungs. Jessica recoiled in horror, but her feet slipped on the bloody mess, and she barely kept her balance. Where was she? What was this place? A muffled rustle came from the darkness. Someone, or something, was here. "You've come," came a voice that sounded like a snake slithering. Two red eyes flashed in the